Holy smokes, what a game. Welcome to the Pester podcast breakdown of the Vegas Golden Knights and Carolina Hurricanes. Sorry, I'm so used to doing Colorado Avalanche content. I'm Mike, floating here tonight doing a live instead, just to see what we can bring to the table. Something a little bit different for everybody as we get excited for the end of the postseason. Crazy night in hockey. What a wonderful, hey Andre, welcome. For Carolina and Vegas, very back and forth game. Kind of the tale of the whole series. Very similar to how games 1 through 3 went. Carolina dominates the first period. This time, like game 1, they get a couple goals. They end up getting 3 in pretty impressive fashion to start. Stankoven scores, a 6 in. Jackson Blake, 3.5 in. And then Stone, tries to push him back. And then that late power play goal from Jordan Staal at 12:48 really kind of set comfort level for Carolina in that first period. Absolutely played great. The late goal that was called back, correct call, 100%. One of those situations where, man, I'm glad they have replay. It was about, I would say, 2 to 3/10 of a second behind the goal horn anyway. So you have yourself a 3-1 lead going into the second period. And then the second period is exactly what you've seen since game 1. Yeah, let's go Canes. Exactly what you've seen since game 1. Vegas dominating on the dominating in the second period. Andre, thank you. It was a huge honor. I'm excited. Hopefully, be getting some Arsenal gear for Father's Day here in the U.S. It's coming up in a few days, in about a week. So excited to see that. Yeah, Alex, it's beautiful. It's working really well. I like it. I didn't feel like doing the full setup tonight, so it's nice for lazy opportunities as well. It's going to be traveling with me too, so I'm looking forward to that. But the second period was all Vegas. Vegas dominating back and forth again, really kind of getting that forecheck going again, putting a lot of pressure on Bussy throughout that stretch. And then an unbelievable play by Mitch Marner, if I'm going to be honest, keeping the puck on his stick. Great job by Rasmus to pinch, and then just an absolute missile from William Karlsson. Just exactly what you expect to see from Vegas in this series, especially in the second period, really kind of pushing that narrative and direction towards the goal and really just establishing themselves. And then they Carolina kind of just held them at a distance for the period, and just really kind of make the plays that they needed to. And then Howden gets that late one at 17:08, and honestly, it's one of those situations where it could have been a backbreaker for Carolina. Based on his stats, Alex, I'd say yes. But I don't really know. Is their backup what? Aiden Hill? Let's pull up the box score here and we'll see. Yeah, do you trust Aiden Hill at that point? Carter Hart's given up, what do they say? 4 goals plus in all 4 games in the Stanley Cup final. And they're currently 2-2. Yeah, I don't pull him, but I don't. See, this is the thing. in my opinion, Bussy didn't even play that well. They limited the amount of real opportunities. Most of the shots he faced were not seriously high danger shots, and the high danger shots he did face, they went in. So, you're looking at the challenge of, does Carolina go back to Anderson? Like, you kind of have to. Bussy got bailed out by some great plays by Chatfield, Gostisbehere. Got a lot of help from that D-corps tonight. Slavin played incredible. Keandre Miller played really well. Especially in that third period. Like, third period was just a messy period. Keandre Miller taking that tripping penalty 2 minutes in really kind of established what the period could have been. If Vegas scores on that power play. Now, granted, I think I heard the stat right, and Alex, you can correct me if I'm wrong. They're like 1 for 19 in the Stanley Cup final on the power play. So if you don't have a power play, that penalty doesn't seem to have as much effect. But you score on that power play, Vegas takes the lead in the third, and it's a completely different game. But they kill it off. One solid save by Bussy in that stretch, and you're really not looking too much at any real other challenges from there on out. Follow that up with the fact that the goal that they did score was one of the muckiest, dirtiest goals I think I've seen in this entire playoffs. Seth Jarvis should have had that first one. Hart waited him out, and then just a scramble in front, and Stahl gets enough on it to put it over the glove. There are problems you run into when you don't have a number one goalie. If Waugh had a bad game, you licked your wounds and went back to him knowing he would bounce back. See, now the question is, do you think Carter Hart is a number one goaltender? Because Vegas clearly does. Vegas looks to invest in him for the remainder of, or for the next little while. That's where I'm wondering, because I don't see him as a number one. He didn't prove it in Philly either, in my opinion. And I think that's where Vegas is going to run into some issues, especially coming next year. We talked about this in our chat previously, and anybody else in the chat, feel free to jump in and ask about this or talk about this. I would say that, truthfully, and I mean this in all sincerity, I think Vegas makes a push for Dylan Larkin, and they're going to get rid of one of Stone, Eichel, or Carlson to make that deal happen. And I think that's where the situation is going to be. Okay, so you're going to give up a lot for Larkin. How does that fix your deficiencies that are starting to kind of become apparent in this Carolina series? Now, granted, Carolina's issues are they're not getting help from their top line. Jarvis and Aho have been absolutely invisible in the first 4 games of this series. Aho, I think, had more turnovers than shots tonight. He looked, every time he touched the puck, he looked scared or confused. He didn't look like he wanted the puck on his stick. It kind of comes down to what they need to address, both these teams. I mean, Carolina is about to, take the series back to Carolina tied 2-2, essentially playing like a period and a half of every game this season, or this series. I feel like they've came out and played very strong in the first period in all 4 games, and then they let Vegas back in it in the second, and then play about 10 minutes of the third. Tonight they played a full third period, but that's after the Stahl goal. They essentially ate up 7 minutes of nonstop play. And you're looking at a lot of different scenarios now at 2-2. Big chance for them to come back. But as Alex said in the last preview, I think they should go with Freddie Anderson. I was surprised they went with Bussy tonight for a lot of reasons. Rookie, unproven really. I mean, he had a decent year this year, but not really established, and putting a kid in that kind of situation is tough. I mean, he understood the assignment. He did enough for them to win, but also I think all three of those goals are savable in some regard. The Stone goal at the beginning, he was just a tad too aggressive, in my opinion. And I'll be curious to see what Brendan Moore chooses to do. I have a feeling Tortorella is going to be pissed because they fought back into this game and couldn't finish it off. But considering it took 2 overtimes in game 3, I'm wondering if part of it is they thought they had the momentum to carry it and didn't play Carolina the best way they could. If you have a second, please like the stream, comment in the chat if you're here. We'd love to hear from you, your thoughts on this game as well. We'll go back to some stat runs here and take a look at the overall stat lines for this game tonight. And they are kind of deceptive based on the fact that Carolina jumped out to a 3-1 lead. They essentially dominated. I mean, they were up 14-6 in shots in the first period, but they gave up a goal. And then they outshoot them 9-6 in the second, but they give up 2. So, I mean, Bussy gives up 3 goals on 12 shots to start the game, and they only see 9 shots. They didn't get double-digit shots the entire game. Credit where credit's due, though, from Carolina, really making sure that they were pushing opportunities. They forced a lot of giveaways. They had 16 block shots as a team tonight, which was a big part of what held them together. Mark Stone with a goal tonight on 5 shots, but also led the team with 6 hits. Hart, 23 of 27 tonight. 4 goals allowed, 3 even strength, and 1 power play goal. And that power play goal was quick. And that, honestly, is the difference in the game again. Similar to last night's game between the Colorado Eagles and Chicago Wolves, the difference in the game was a power play. And, I mean, for Avs fans who've been dealing with this pretty much since the beginning, that's the challenge we've run into is, without special teams, what are you? And Vegas is running into this problem right now. I mean, this postseason run has been powered by their ability to score on special teams. Granted, the Avalanche couldn't beat them because they didn't have special teams, but that's how they beat Anaheim. That's how they beat Utah, because both of those teams felt like they had the balance and advantage with speed in the special team side, but the veteran leadership of Vegas really made the huge difference. I mean, when you're led by Shea Theodore, Mark Stone, and Jack Eichel, you're going to be having a pretty solid run. Mitch Marner is continuing to have a phenomenal postseason. Honestly, even if they don't win this series and they don't give it to Logan Stankoven, who probably is the next in line to deserve it, I would be shocked if Marner doesn't get the Conn Smythe for his contribution to this postseason. He's been absolutely unbelievable, and I have a lot of faith that a lot of Toronto fans are feeling that loss of him pretty heavily at this rate. I will be surprised to see what the decisions are for Game 5 for these teams. It's going to be... I don't know what changes Tortorella has to make for Game 5. I mean, we've got a night to kind of decide what they want to do and look into it for Thursday. But, do you go with Aiden Hill and net? Do you maybe change up they put, from what I heard, I believe they put Rasmus and Shea back together, which kind of makes a huge difference for them defensively. And you really just need to figure out what to do there. For Carolina, it's that top line. The top line has just been invisible. I mean, Nick Ehlers tonight had 3 points. It's great to see a goal and 2 assists. That goal, Nick Ehlers' goal was ridiculous. I agree with you, Alex. Alex says, my very uneducated opinion is that Carolina goes back to Freddie and Vegas stays with Hart. I completely agree. I don't necessarily see them making a change in net. I mean, if you don't trust Aiden Hill at this point when your goalie's already given up 4 goals, and honestly, this series has been lights out, truthfully. If you're looking for offensive hockey, you got it. Freddie has something to prove, and he's a fighter. He'll have the game of his life. I believe that. And it's another former Maple Leaf who wants to prove a point. And this is the healthiest he's been in probably 4 or 5 years. So I think maybe giving him a night off. This is similar to now it's a little bit different than the Wallstead situation in Minnesota, where they thought that like they'd give him a night off and he'd come back stronger than ever. The difference is Freddie's a veteran. I think his mindset's a lot stronger. I trust his team around him a lot more. But I think in the long run, Freddie being back in net is the right choice for Carolina. But I want to go back to the Nick Ehlers empty netter. I want to know if he did that on purpose or if it was a clear out that just hit the glass just right. I thought it hit the ref and just caromed into the right direction, but no, it was all boards and an unbelievable light touch, gentle caress into the net off those boards by Ehlers, who, I mean, a 3-point night for him is huge, especially when, you know, your top line has been underperforming. 2-goal night for Jordan Staal. The second goal, I feel like Hart wanted it, but it kind of fluttered on him a little bit. Just a kind of a strange scenario in a lot of ways. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's important to really find a good opportunity, I guess, like that and finish it. Hart made a couple of really big saves in this one that I thought could be game changers. That Jarvis one initially was, until the scramble and the weird loss of the puck. It trickled through and it just happened to find Stahl's stick. And I mean, it was the muddiest of dirty area goals I think I've ever seen. Just one of those, like, similar to how excuse me, sorry. I've been up for a very long time. That's very similar in a way to the game winner in double overtime. Just an awkward carom, a weird bounce, a weird situational finish that just happens. You know, the weird thing about hockey is it's a game of bounces. But I think for Carolina to lock this series up, they have to win Game 5, and it needs to be the Sebastian Aho show. The fact that he just looks lost on the ice right now, like, I can't explain it. I don't know what else to say. He just doesn't seem comfortable. I'm sure he's probably dealing with an injury. Everybody's dealing with injuries at this point. But it just, like, every pass seems off by like a little bit, or his stick has a hole in it, as I like to say, because every time he's trying to play a puck off the boards in the zone or near a space where he's got an opportunity, it seems to slip past him versus him making the play on it. So I'll be very curious to see what Aho looks like for Game 5. And then if they can win Game 5, I think this series goes 7. If they don't win Game 5, I think Vegas wins it in 6. I don't know what it is. Just something feels like Game 5 is going to be that turning point. I'm sure there's a bunch of statistics and some baseball-ass stat that I can look up that would tell us exactly how important a Game 5 victory is. But at the end of the day, this has been a significantly better Stanley Cup final than I thought we were going to get. I hit the mic. I wholeheartedly admit that I underestimated Vegas in this series by a long shot. I underestimated Vegas against Colorado because of who they played beforehand. They're a team of vets. They're a team of very stubborn vets, and John Tortorella knows how to get the best out of these guys. So I would expect Game 5 to be a tough game for Carolina, who, by the way, have a significantly better road record than home record in this postseason, because they've lost 2 games at home out of the 3 games they've lost in this postseason. So it'll be very curious to see who is going to make a difference for these 2 teams. I think it comes down to, can someone help Marner and Stone really find another gear or find that next push? Because I feel like Marner's done so much already. Sissons and Eichel have both been present in the scene. I've heard a lot of reports in Colorado about us needing to go get a Keegan Colasar type, and I'm a bit hesitant. I mean, I like hammers, I like bigger players, but I don't know if it's necessary. But I mean, Colasar's done enough. I feel like he. Let's take a look at his minutes tonight. See what he did tonight for Vegas. So Colasar played 6 minutes. He played 10 shifts. He had 1 blocked shot and 4 hits. So he did his job tonight. He's what he does. He's there to muck it up. He's there to make it a little more difficult for your team. He played the fewest minutes of anyone on the ice. Carrier only played 8:23, but he's also been fighting an injury, and he's been in and out of the lineup for this whole series. So I think that's one of those situations where, you're expecting to see him play fewer minutes. Shout out to Sean Walker. 5 hits tonight, 3 block shots. He was -2, but he played his ass off. He was noticeable in a lot of respects tonight. I think moving forward, though, and I'm gonna wrap this up here shortly, just because I gotta get to bed. I gotta catch a flight in the morning. I think the big takeaway from tonight is Carolina showed resilience in the face of adversity again. And this time they were able to shut the door. I think moving forward, Carolina desperately needs to get more from that top line. And I think Vegas needs to get more from their depth. It's a tale of 2 different stories. So from here, it's going to be who else can score besides Marner, Stone, Carlson, and Eichel. Who else can contribute offensively for Vegas now going into Game 5? What's their defensive pairing situation going to look like? Is Carter Hart still in net? The answer is probably yes. For Carolina, can they get that top line going? Can they get Jarvis going? Can Jarvis and his boys find some juju? Is Aho able to really step up in an important game? It's not an elimination game yet, but it's important. Game 5 sets the tempo for the remainder of the series. We know this is at minimum going 6 now at 2-2, so you have to be prepared for your game on the 11th to make it the best you possibly can be. I think Freddie's back in net. I think that defense is handling Vegas as best as possible, but Carolina as a whole needs their superstars to step up. Let's just take a look real quick. So from their top players tonight, Jarvis, no points. Aho had an assist but was -1. Stankoven had another goal, but Aho's assist was on the power play, which doesn't delete the fact that he had an assist. But, Aho and Gostisbehere getting assists on the power play doesn't change the fact that, they need to get more from their starting unit. Just curious. I want to look at something really quick. So in this postseason, Sebastian Aho has 11 points, 4 goals, 7 assists. I mean, he's played well in this series so far. He's played better in this series than I'd say I even expected. 4 assists in 4 games, but no goals. So you're looking for more from him on the goal scoring side. It's similar to what happened with the Avs and Marty Necas and Brock Nelson. I know I keep talking about the Avalanche, but this is an Avs-centric channel. It's where we focus more of our attention. But with that being said, thank you guys for joining me here for this quick half an hour rant about anything about this Game 4. If you like what you saw, like what you heard, like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching this after the live is done. We'd love to hear from you. Comment what you think will happen in Game 5. Let us know what you think about the show. I'm going to be out of the country, actually, for a couple of weeks. So no long-form shows for a little while, but we'll have some really fun short-form content coming your way here. Maybe a little adventure vlog from me, which I think I'm kind of excited about to shoot, and I've got some got some help coming with that one, which I'm excited about. You know, Andre, that's a great question. I think the Avs do move on from Nichushkin. I think he's one of the pieces. I think himself and Ross Colton become expendable. I think Nichushkin becomes a cap casualty and Colton becomes a system casualty. With McFarland gone and Sakic now making the decisions, a lot of things are going to be up in the air. It'll be very interesting to see what the franchise does. If you go back and watch the game recap of the Eagles-Wolves, I kind of recap who I think the Eagles could lose to the Avalanche next year. And one of those guys being TJ Hughes can be a kind of a replacement that allows the Avalanche to kind of be a little bit more flexible on Nichushkin or Colton, in my opinion. What I think will happen, though, is just because Nuke, he's kind of in that in-between period where his effectiveness and his presence in the lineup is really important for Colorado. They tend to win more than lose when he's there, but I just don't know if he really fits what the system's trying to do right now, as his role is sort of diminished with the additions of Necas and the play of certain other players within the rotation as of late. Landeskog being healthy, being part of it, and Kadri and Waugh kind of taking a little bit more away from that situation. That's a great question, though. I'll be very curious to see what his situation looks like in the offseason. I also think it's a smart move if they do, just because I don't know if his contract is necessarily one that has a benefit for the Avs right now as a whole. So, but Andre, thank you as always for joining us. Alex, you as well. Always a pleasure to see some familiar faces. I actually forgot to share this on Instagram, so a few of our other normals probably aren't in here tonight, Spencer being one of them. But we're going to be doing a lot more short form content for a little while, just because we have busy lives, and this isn't our full-time job yet. We're not quite Steve Dangle, but we're getting there. But tell your friends, tell your loved ones, tell your enemies to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, we appreciate everybody. Of course, Andre, thanks for the question. It's a great question, and I expect more amazing content from you here in the near future. Hopefully, we'll do some more live streams and see what we can do about that. But until next time, for Alex, for Sean, I am Mike, and this has been the Pester Line Podcast. We'll catch you guys next time. Okay, love you. Bye.